The core characteristics of Blautech not only encompass the characters of how we are going to be able to work with people, but also the characteristics of leadership. And the next group really deal with that. In particular, we will talk about mercy, which is the first characteristic that we have to have in leadership. And really by leadership, I'm not simply talking about somebody that's supervising another employee or somebody that is in charge of some particular project or anything along that line. Leadership is really simply defined as if you look over your shoulder and find anybody is following you, then you probably are a leader. It really probably defines almost all of us. But specifically, if you really desire to hone up on your leadership skills, these are the characteristics that we think are the most important. The first of those is mercy. You have to have mercy because you yourself require mercy. Now, you have messed up. We've established that already in the initial core characteristics that we've talked about. We make mistakes and we all understand that that's true. Well, you know what? Other people do too. And when we're dealing with other people, we have to recognize that about them. And the other thing that's essential to that point is that they don't even make the same mistakes that we do. Sometimes they'll make entirely different mistakes. And sometimes things that are extremely easy for us to do are really hard for other people. C.S. Lewis once said in the book Mere Christianity, and I thought it was a really, really interesting point, that sometimes we judge people too quickly because we've not really lived in their life. Sometimes we talk about walking in another's footsteps first or in their shoes. And really what he illustrated I thought is very, very interesting in that this person that may have a problem with their temper, and we think that, oh, isn't this just a person that's extremely angry and they just need to get a grip on life? What we may not understand is all of the circumstances of their life that brought them to the point of having that temper, which may be entirely different from the circumstances of our own life. Plus, we don't even understand what their innate nature is. It may be that they're working 2, 3, 10 times harder to control the temper that we see displayed than we are internally, naturally controlling our own temper. So really, I'm saying that we need to be slow to judge and we need to be very, very gentle and very merciful in our approach in working with other people. If we're going to lead people, we have to demonstrate mercy. We've got to give them grace. Grace is really unmerited favor, and it's the same concept as mercy. It's no, they don't deserve it, but we're going to give it to them anyways with the hope of inspiring them down the road. Sometimes this can be referred to as pay it forward. We're going to give first in the idea and the hope that we're going to encourage and motivate them to then live up to that expectation. I think a lot of times it's simply very easily put like this. If you set an expectation and you communicate that expectation, then oftentimes people will live up to it. In my life as a parent of many, many children, biological, adopted, and foster, we are able to take our kids pretty much anywhere. And oftentimes there could be a train of 5, 6, 7 children going into a restaurant. And I've on multiple occasions had parents that had 1 or 2 toddlers that were all over the place, exasperated and trying to keep their kids under control in that restaurant, come to me and say, I don't understand how you do it. You've got all these kids, they've lined up in a line, they're behaving, they're doing what they're supposed to. I can't even manage my 2 children that we have here. And really all I've done is, before we got out of the car, is I turned around and I set an expectation. We helped them to understand what it was that they were supposed to do. We demonstrate mercy when we give people the chance to rise up and become what they are capable of, but maybe not executing directly initially.